Now remember kids, don't try this at home. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm an untrained amateur. I'm about to use Vortex Poultry Rub on some poultry without using a Vortex. Hey, welcome to Big Lew BBQ and other things I want to do. I'm Big Lew and this is what I've got going on for you. I want to show you how I made some delicious chicken. Now, we brined it in the South's original energy drink. Yeah, sweet tea, all right? Southern sweet tea. Now, you've heard of sweet tea brined chicken before, I'm sure. It's usually cut up into pieces and then brined in the sweet tea and then battered and fried, right? Sometimes people grill it, but it's usually done in pieces. I got to thinking, what if we brined it whole and then stick it up on a can like they do the beer can chickens, all right, in Southern sweet tea. Now you may be wondering, what's the difference between a brine and a marinade? I've wondered that before too. Basically, a marinade is got an acid and an oil base in it. It usually imparts some flavor. You know, like if you put chicken in Italian dressing, well, that's a marinade. And if you put chicken in salt water, well, that's a brine. Because a brine is usually water-based with salt and sugar and other stuff in it too. And by the way, this brine is not gonna be sipping tea, all right? We're gonna put some stuff in it. This is how it turned out. By the way, I'm recording this after my family ate it because the taste test was kind of, well, and then when they ate it, they said, this is some great chicken. They even requested me to make it again next week. So here's how it happened. Southern sweet tea brine chicken on Big Lew BBQ. All right, well, I've got two chickens. They should be roaster chickens for doing these chickens on a can thing. This one is about 6 1/4 pounds. That's about roaster size. This one is only about 5 pounds, just a shade over 5 pounds. It's either a really big fryer or a really small roaster size chicken. All right, now I've got sugar because you were making sweet tea, right? And I've got lemon and I've got fresh mint, but I've also got fresh rosemary. I've got some thin sliced onions and some thin sliced garlic, and I've got 2 ounces of salt. This is table salt. It will dissolve easier into tea than coarse salt. And this is the sugar I talked about. Now, over here, I've got 2 family size tea bags in the filter. It goes into this tea maker. This is a new tea maker. We just got this recently. We had one when we got married 20 years ago and it broke earlier this year. So I'm not going through the summer without a tea maker. So we had to buy a new one because our 20-year-old one broke. All right, be married 21 years this June. Had to buy a new tea maker. Goodness gracious. All right, so we got lemon, we got sugar, we got mint. That's what and tea. That's what you need for sweet tea. But we're going to be making a brine. So we've got salt, onion, and garlic and rosemary to go with this. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the stuff in there and show you what we're doing. All right, I know it's kind of frosted, but I don't have as much ice as I would if I was making tea because I don't want this to be too watered down. And I can't brine with ice. I gotta brine with cold water, right? So I want that ice to melt. So the ice is only about to here. Normally, if I was making tea, the ice would go up to there. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw in one or two lemon slices in there and a sprig of mint. Okay, and about 1 ounce of sugar. And that's what we'd be doing if we were making tea. We'd throw the other ounce of sugar into the pitcher. And so we need to do that. Just like this. All right, but since we're making brine, we're also gonna add about 1 ounce of salt to that part so that the hot water hits it. The other ounce of salt in there. I'm gonna throw a few onion slices in here. I'm gonna throw about 1 of the cloves of garlic all sliced up. The equivalent of it anyway. All right, and everything else is going in here. The garlic, the onion, I'll just pull out some, the lemon, everything else is going in here. Another rosemary sprig. Did I put a rosemary sprig in here? If I didn't, I will. All right, mint. I think I got a rosemary sprig under the salt, but I'll check. All right. So everything goes into this pitcher. All right, well, I didn't have the rosemary in there, but I got rosemary in there now. Little bit, all right, fresh rosemary. And no Yankees, Southerners don't put salt, garlic, onions, and rosemary in their drinking tea. Well, sometimes rosemary, actually. Sometimes I got to turn that around like that. Still getting used to this new tea maker. The other one had all this was attached to the top of the unit, all right? More like a coffee pot. All right, and then I just turn it on over here on the side. You want to brew tea on this on the stove, and sooner or later we're gonna have some tea, but it's brining tea. It's sure not sipping tea, okay, with all that onion and garlic and stuff in there. I want to thank Alex at Pork Belly Woodworks. Once again, you've seen this chopping board on my channel several times. He gave it to me almost a year ago now, and he made it, and so I could use it on my channel. I don't always mention him, but people ask, where'd you get that chopping board? PBWW, all right? That's Pork Belly Woodworks. I'll leave a link to his Facebook page below. I use it. I love it. Fantastic chopping board. Our brining tea is brewing on top of those onions and rosemary and mint that's in there, and sugar that's dissolving with the hot water as it goes into the filter. Pretty cool little gadget. You know, you could brew tea on the stove. You could do this that way, throw the onions and garlic and rosemary and all that in there too. All right. That did the trick. It's cold now. It's not lukewarm anymore like it was. It's cold. I'm ready to pour it on top of the chickens here. It smells wonderful for a brine. It really does. Doesn't smell like good sipping drinking tea, but it smells awesome for a brine. All right, I'm gonna have trouble doing this and holding the camera. Tripod's in the other room, so you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pour half of this into this one and half of this into that chicken bag. All right, I got both the chickens in the brining bag. Got some onion and lemon and mint and stuff distributed in each one. They're going in my refrigerator for about 12 hours. I'd rather do this for 24, but I'm doing this early in the morning. I'm gonna cook them late this evening. And so it's gonna be about a 12-hour brine. 24 would be better. All right, I got 2 cans. Use whatever you want. These were sparkling water cans. Not a big deal, but you see what I wanna do is I wanna open the lid up. So you get your church key and you just puncture it like that. Real easy. Now these are empty. I said real easy, but it was on camera, so it couldn't be, right? Like that. Now, so I want to put some liquid in here. Keeping with the spirit, we're going to put in some tea. Now, you don't have to do this. You could just roast the tea brined. You could just roast the tea brined chickens without one of these cans, you know. But anyway, it holds the chickens up. I'm not a big fan of the can. Okay, well, these chickens have been brining in this tea brine with the onions and stuff. I want to mention that I threw in some bay leaves. Shortly after I videoed the segment this morning, I realized, you know what? I should have brewed that tea with some bay leaves in there. And so I went ahead and threw some bay leaves in there. Being in the cold brine might not have been as good as if I'd thrown them in that brewing basket earlier this morning, but I throw a bunch of bay leaves in the mix too. So when you brew your tea, throw some bay leaves in there too. All right, now this may not be pretty, but I'm gonna take this chicken out of here and I'm gonna impale them on these cans. Cavity side down, neck side up. Even though I try to keep my show family friendly, I'll show you the impaling process as we take this chicken and impale it upon this can. It goes just like that, all right? There you go. Now, some people think it's funny to kind of tuck the wings back like this. Now I'm gonna do the other one. I'm also gonna take a paper towel, and what I'm gonna do with the paper towel is I'm gonna pat it dry all the skin. All right, guess what I did? I tasted that. I opened it and tasted it, and I found out something very important. It's good. It's got a smoky flavor to it. It is very salty, but I'm gonna be serving this with Alabama white sauce, and I think that's going to take down some of the salt flavor, but it's actually really good. It does have a smoky flavor to it. But you see, I'm just gonna sprinkle it all over these chickens here. Splash it on there, just kind of pat it in if I need to, all right? And so you'll see what the chickens look like, and we'll go out and throw them on the smoker. They're vortexed up, let's go to the smoker. All right, there's still a little white smoke, but this is a drum smoker primarily using charcoal, not an offset primarily using split wood. I do have some oak wood in there for smoke, all right? But I'm not worried about that little white smoke, and it's gonna go away. All right, there's no real good way to do this. And I don't have gloves on, but I will wash my hands in just a few minutes. We're just gonna set these birds right in here, like that. All right, now I'm not gonna use any electronics or anything in this. just about an hour and a half. I'm gonna start checking the temperature and opening it up. You'll see them then. There'll be other things here. I'm gonna put some potatoes, and the subject of the next video is gonna be on this grate too next time you see it. That's it. All right, I'm about to introduce a brand new segment to Big Lew BBQ. That's right, it's brand new for Big Lew BBQ. Yeah, I like to rhyme a little bit. Yeah, right after we get the grill thrill on or get some drum fun in, all right, I'm going to show you this new segment. Yeah, it's called What's Big Lew's Brew? Yeah, I'm going to show you the delicious, crisp, refreshing, cold brewed beverage. Sometimes it might be a hot brewed beverage that Big Lew is drinking that day. Sweet tea. Actually, this is semi-sweet tea. I know good southern syrupy sweet iced tea. Yeah, I like it. I drink it, but I don't drink it as much as I used to, you know. And I'm quite comfortable drinking unsweet tea. I'm quite comfortable drinking black coffee too. So I'm not, you know, you got to have sweet tea. I drink unsweet tea just fine. Kind of grew up with it. This is semi-sweet tea, all right? It's got a little bit of sugar, got a little bit of lemon, got a little bit of mint. None of that stuff we put in the brine for the chicken, but boy, it is refreshing. You see, now I do like sweet tea, I really do. This is semi-sweet tea, which means it's a little bit better for Big Lew's A1C. You know what I'm saying to you? All right, now, I'm American, and as American, you know, like, the whole thing about 1773 with the Boston Tea Party and everything, where they threw all the tea in the harbor. Yeah, see, we Americans, we drink our tea cold and our coffee hot. That's another brewed beverage that I like a lot, all right, is hot coffee. Yeah, and we drink our tea cold and our coffee hot. We don't drink cold coffee. We don't drink hot tea. No, that's for those Europeans over there, those fancy Europeans with their hot tea and cold coffee and their metric system and everything. No, cold iced tea. A little hint of mint too. Whew, that's good, y'all. All right, and that ends this segment of What's Big Lew's Brew? 170 on that side, it was at 171 on this side. That one's still around 159, 161. The bigger one is not quite done. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the small one off of here though, so it doesn't overcook, and probably take the potatoes off. Okay, they're both done. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut the one. This one just came off, it's really hot. This one's been resting while the larger one got done, but it's up there. Let's see. You know, my chicken test, if you could turn the leg and it comes out, that means it's done. Yep. All right. Let's go ahead and cut that up. Golly, just, All right. Family members think this is their kitchen. I think it's my cooking set. Look at that. Just look how juicy that is. All right. And zoom in, or I could bring that up there. Just look. All right. I want to try a little dark meat. I want to try a little white meat. Look at that. Look at that. It's going to be delicious. Here's my taste test sample. All right. My family, Shannon, my wife, my son Eli, my daughter Hannah. Y'all met them before. You know, we cooking in the evening. They don't want to be on camera and all. So anyway, they've tried it. I haven't, but I'm going to try that little juicy piece of the breast that you saw me cut off. All right. I'm going to ask Eli first. We'll go youngest though. Youngest, like my wife. Okay. Anyway, go. What'd you think?
I thought it was really good. It's a bit different.
It's a bit different. Iced tea brine chicken, Hannah.
I really like it. It's another one of those options that it doesn't have to be spicy, but it's wonderful and very flavorful.
Shannon?
It was very juicy. I like that. There is a slightly different flavor, but I mean, that's what you're going for. So it's a nice, new, different spin on chicken.
Is it juicy?
Oh yeah, I said that.
Okay, I just tried the skin. Try that Vortex rub. That's smoky rub. It's got a smoky flavor to it. Rub's very good. Chicken is really juicy. It'd have been even better if I'd brined it for longer. I don't brine a whole lot of poultry. I usually marinate or inject a marinade. But this is really good, y'all. And we got to eat. So thanks for watching Big Lew BBQ. Well, look at that. A mother and child reunion. My wife made deviled eggs. And I got this iced tea brine chicken. I put some of those peppers on my potato. All right. And I've got some of this Alabama white sauce we just whisked up. Oh yeah. Oh, this is so good on chicken. It's good on pork too, but it's going to be so good. All right. Thanks for watching Big Lew BBQ.